Yeah.
I wish I thought of doing this, but this is something I got from Theo the wood turner through the Record Power Tools demos. And Theo is a very, very capable, very good turner. And these are made from cubes. You start off with a basically perfectly square cube and you end up with an 8-point star. Now, this is one of the first ones I did because I wasn't really realizing what the hell I'm really supposed to be doing. But these are some of the last ones I've done. Okay, and dimensions aren't critical. Okay, not your starting. You pick what size you want to play with. Okay, so I'm starting with a 2 1/4 inch cube. Okay, now when Theo turned these, he laid it out and put it between centers, and basically it's three V cuts. Okay, but I didn't get the grasp about what the minor diameter should be and stuff. And then when I was trying to do it, I kept veering off. So after thinking about it, I came up with ways to simplify making it for Ron Marcoux. Okay, now that's one of my problems is I'm not really that good a turner, but I definitely come up with a lot of good ways to make it look like I know what the hell I'm doing. So what I end up doing is I made a drill jig. Okay, and what I end up doing is I epoxied a bolt in there, drilled the hole in there, and basically I can take the cube, stick it on there, go in a drill press, and drill yay deep. And I did that for a whole bunch of them. But then it dawned on me that I could put this in a 4-jaw chuck and drill it in the 4-jaw chuck. So I'm going to switch camera, figure this out to see which camera I'm. Where's that one? Oh, I must have bumped it. Okay. So basically, I have these jaws that'll, you know, so I end up drilling 1/4 of the depth in each face. And in turn, that gives me a reference for when I'm cutting. Okay, so, oh wait, let's go back to this, to that camera. So basically, six holes drilled to the depth that I want to go. So by going 1/4, the minor diameter on what I'm making is half the diameter. So 2 1/4, I'm going down to 1 1/8. Now you can go, it's irrelevant as long as they end up being at that. Now, by doing the drilling that I do, it gives me a witness for how deep I'm going, and it keeps my cut on center. Because if I try to do a freehand, I always seem to veer a little left. You know, for whatever reason, even with this, I still veer a little left.
We have that same problem in Congress.
Okay, well the thing is that with the hole all the way around, it simplifies it. It takes guesswork out, measuring out, and so on and so forth. So you end up doing that. You turn a V, and then you have to make a jig to do the other 2 V's. Okay, so if you want me to show you drilling it, I will. But what I did to you know, everybody uses tape for how deep you go. Well, I took a drill bit and I sharpened it kind of to a point, and I glued it in this block so that 5/62 is sticking out, or 9/16, because that's how deep I want to go. Now I can put this in a chuck and just drill in and stop. Okay, and it's the perfect depth every time. Okay, so if you want me to show you doing that, I will, but does everybody kind of get the gist of what this does?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
You said you were going to drill to 1 1/8, and now you're talking about.
No, the center diameter. I'm drilling one quarter of the thickness of the piece.
All right.
Which is 9/16.
Right.
All right.
Okay, but you could set your minor diameter to whatever you want. You could set your minor diameter down to an inch. Okay, the thing is that you want consistency on all three B's.
So 9/16 is going to give you a center of inch and an eighth.
Yeah.
All right. Very good.
Okay, so if you want me to drill 8 holes, I will, but I think we can avoid that.
Yeah.
Okay, all in agreement on that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Move on.
So
Actually, can you just, how would you hold the cube in your chuck though? How do you do that on the lathe?
well, okay, so let me switch cameras.
You don't have to drill it, but just I was wondering how you hold the cube for that. Okay.
It's a 4-jaw chuck. Now that's a Barracuda 4. Barracuda 4, and that will hold that piece. My G3 chucks, Nova G3 chucks, won't open enough. Okay, but that opens. It spins on center, and where I made this thing, when I did it before and I didn't have a stop like this, I used my banjo as a stop for the tailstock. I just pushed it into it. Okay, so set the tailstock at the right depth.
What are you doing? Get off my desk.
Okay, so are we set with how you can?
Yep.
Okay, so I'm not going to turn that. Okay, so what I will do right now, I'm going to go and turn do a first V cut. Now, when you take a piece,
You notice that, Marcel?
You know,
what?
between the apron and the shorts on, I'm having images that I'll never ever get out of my mind.
There's some things you see that you just can't unsee.
Will not be unseen forever. I know. God. Anyway, back to the 9/16.
Okay, 1 minute. 1 minute.
Oh, Marcel, we are tough. You and I are tough.
You know, it's what keeps us human and humble.
Yes.
And if I can't laugh at myself.
Yeah, but you're laughing at me.
Yeah, that's all right. We love you
better.
anyway.
And Ron, I assumed that you were able to take it. If you can't.
Yes, I can. Okay, so when I turn these between centers, I have my 6 holes already there, and I'm using this is a robust safety drive. I don't know what else to call it, but basically this, you can actually turn bowls with this, but I modified this so the center's like a step drive. I ground a flat on the centerpiece, stuck a spring or piece of O-ring or something in behind it, and so that this is spring load like a step drive. Okay, so this will go on my.
It doesn't have teeth like a step center.
No. It's I call it a safety drive because if it stops, you just tighten the tailstock a little bit.
Yeah,
but I've done 14-inch bowls starting with this.
Right. But be careful calling it that, because One Way calls theirs a safe driver. And they have, because it has no teeth on it.
Well, whatever. I'm just calling that because I don't know of anything better, you know? So, okay, so I'm gonna put this between centers. Let me switch cameras. You wanna look down? You wanna look from the end? You wanna look from overhead?
As long as we don't have to look at the skirt.
Right there. That's a
Okay,
good
so that's, okay. Now, normally I have 4 lights that I would normally have on. But if I put the lights on, it creates too much glare, so I can't do that.
Just happened to notice, are those all Gibbs screws on that?
Yep, yep. I put those on there. This is a grizzly
course.
lathe. And hey, I'll give you a piece of my mind in a minute, but I bought this because I wanted the capacity and the torque, the horsepower. And I couldn't, there's no way I could justify spending $7,000 bucks.
Sure.
I got this for like $3,500. They don't make them anymore, but it's 3 horse. I've had to do a lot of work to it, but where I'm a tool maker, I can do stuff and fix anything that's messed up. So that's what I've done. Okay. That's to make sure that the quill stays snug. I do a lot of beefy stuff, so I did that just to make sure it can't wander. I also put a grub screw in, so when I put a chuck in, I'll go over. Oh yeah, you can see it right here.
Right.
When I put a drill chuck in here, I tap it in with a saw face, and I tighten up that grub screw, and there's no way the damn chuck is going to spin or pull out. I'm kind of aggressive, maybe, and I'm used to stuff to work with metal, and so I've done stuff to assist me. Now, I would normally wear a face shield. I would normally have my dust collector going, and I normally have a fan blowing behind me. I'm going to turn that on and see if we can leave it on. If not, I'll turn it on. But I'd rather have that on behind me. Is that too much noise?
No, it's good.
That's fine.
Okay.
You got a
Okay.
good.
That's just so it blows stuff away from me. Otherwise, I'd be wearing my Posvia respirator. Okay, so let me explain one more thing too. Let me go back to the straight on camera. Okay. So again, like I said, I make a lot of stuff to make it look like I know what I'm doing. And once I have the lathe set up, and let's say I'm making 10 or 20 or 5 of these, I try to make it so I can make it simple. So I made a limit for my parting tool. Okay, now once it's set, I can go all the way down and through, and then the bottom of the V is set. And then when I go to the other things, you know, it just works out, okay? So when Theo did this, he did it with a ultra thin parting tool and went down in the center. I've modified my parting tool so it has a little, I don't know if you can see it, a little V on the end. Can you see
Yep.
Okay. So that may not be exact, but theoretically it can work down into it. Okay.
So in other words, Ron, it's tapered.
Well, all of my parting tools are tapered from the tip to tail.
Okay.
Every single parting tool I have, I've modified them so that way I don't have to go side to side. I can plunge all the way down in because I've modified my parting tools.
Gotcha.
Okay, if it was a regular potting tool, you'd have to go in a little bit, in a little bit, in a little bit. Okay, but because I've modified every single potting tool I have, I can just plunge right in. Okay, but with this, there's a V on the end of the potting tool. This
Okay.
potting tool is strictly kind of like for this. You know, it's one that I made. You know, whatever. It's but I wanted to show you the stop. Now, I had made one out of metal. Just took a cut off wheel and ground down into the thing, and then I put some set screws on the side. But I figured I'd make a wood one, just to show that you don't have to have metal to do the same thing. And now with this is just two pieces of wood with another piece glued on the bottom, and then I took some screws and just had the threaded part go in and ground everything off. So these are working like pins. If I screwed down with the flatheads, it would have split the wood and stuff. So by just going in with that and then grinding it off, this shouldn't blow apart. And then there's a threaded insert on this side and a bolt, 1/4-inch bolt, and I can just snug that. And if I have to adjust it, I can. Okay, but I just made, I don't know, 50 of these things, and this is how I made them so they're all consistent. Okay, so I just wanted to share that. You'll see me use it. Ready to do some cutting. I would normally wear a face shield, but because of I don't have Bluetooth like Tom, I'm gonna live on the edge. And okay, so let's see here. See what that one is. Okay, that's looking straight at it. Okay, how about we go overhead? I bought all these cameras and just not smart enough to there we go. You'll be able to see what I'm doing there. Okay, so I'm gonna start in with a spindle gouge. Now, I actually have this is actually a bowl gouge that I sharpened to 30 degrees. And it's kind of my go-to spindle tool. You know, the key with tools is consistent angles. Okay, what the angle is almost irrelevant because you'll get accustomed to it. So, okay, so I'm gonna start using this, but as I get in a little further, then I'll go with the parting tool. And don't ask me the speed. I have no clue. It's a speed that I'm comfortable with.
Did you pick the grain direction any certain way to start, or does it not matter?
Well, what I try to do is end up having it so it's spindle turning for the last facet, for the last cut.
Okay.
Because that's when it's the most fragile. Okay, so this is definitely cross grain right now. Okay, so, and many times what I've done is I've gone in. I don't know if you can see me doing this. Am I in the right camera?
Gives me a headache too.
Okay, so that gives me a witness of where I'm going to. Now, one of the reasons why I'm doing the spindle gouge down a ways okay, so can you see the hole?
Yep.
Okay, and I'm fairly close with the I'm actually a little bit to the left of it. So now I'm gonna start playing with the parting tool, and hopefully I'm at the right depth, because I had this set up before. And see, I'm a little bit to the right of it, of the hole. Okay, so hopefully you can see, I'm still a little bit to the left of it. Now that, well, I must have drilled those off. Okay, but again, this is a back and forth thing. And what I like to do is to actually catch the very corner early. I mean, you're turning right out to the very corner. So every time I'm picking up, it's almost like a beginner. For me, it's almost like a beginner setup. I present the tool, ride the bevel, adjust the tool till I start getting a chip. Okay. Yeah, we got ways to go. I might have to adjust the tool rest.
Hello? Can you hear me? Oh. Now I can hear you.
Hmm?
Now I can hear you.
Okay.
What's happening?
A lot. Just got back to Dad's house. So I thought,
Wait, let me look.
Cool.
where are you at?
I'm home watching a turning demonstration.
Oh, good. Um,
So Ron, that stop lock that you have on the tool, it's registering to the tool rest and not the piece of wood spinning.
Yeah, the stop, I go in straight till it hits the tool rest, and then I can rock down.
Okay,
And if everything's right, I can rock all the way down through, and it's at the right diameter. The thing is that once you get it set, and that's not bad. I set some calipers. Now Theo, the wood turner, was using calipers. I have an issue with measuring. I always get different measurements. With this, I'm getting a consistent thing. So now the idea is to go from the very corner down to the bottom of the V on both sides. Okay, and it's just some spindle turning. That tool's not too good. This is a piece of ash. It's actually pretty hard. I did 3 cherry ones before, and they cut like butter compared to this. So the intent is to get a straight cut from the outer edge to the center. I'm cheating a little here.
Ron, would you consider turning to a template?
You could. I made a template at work to what I had done on CAD, but it doesn't look like it. So no, if you're really good, you'll get a nice clean cut. And I got bumps right here and a little bit of a bump right there. I'm not going to worry too much about it. I'll sand it. A lot of times what I've done when I've gotten to the bottom, done a little shear scrape coming the other way. Okay, and bango. So I'm gonna go to the computer camera. Okay, so that's what I'm looking to end up with. Okay, now, if you went to a smaller diameter in the middle, the thing is that all of the V's have to be the same. And I found that, I thought, with the ones that I've done, going to the 50% in the middle, it gives the star kind of a little bit of a fat look, and I like it, okay? But the size is irrelevant. You pick it, just go to that size, okay? So now, when you go to make I'll show you what the drivers look like. Ooh. Now you have to make a driver.
Oh,
Okay. And once
Okay.
you make this, okay, so now I'm going to show you how to make that though. I am going to go through that process. Now keep in mind that when I first did this, I made like 4 drivers before I got it right. So like I said, I'm not really that good at Turner, but I just do it. Okay, so let me switch to the end view camera if I can figure it out. I think it's this one. Okay. So now basically you take 2 jaws off. So see how quick I did that? Huh? I went from this to that. Don't you wish your jaws changed that quick? Come on, I'm nervous. Okay, so now, because I have a brake on my lathe, I use the grub screw, the jam. Went over there. Hold on a minute. Drop the gouge. Oh, shoot. I meant to do something else first. Hold on a minute. Okay, so on the driver, you have to turn it
You didn't
Okay,
miss that, did you, Marcel?
so I cheated a little bit. Here's two blocks that were going to be two stars, and I glued it back together so I could do what I'm doing right now. Okay, because I have a center mark and a center mark. Bear with me for a minute. Bear with me. So what I just put on the tailstock is a piece I made that basically lets me know when I've got a 2-inch tenon. I don't have to measure anything. You could do the same thing with wood. Okay, but basically what I gotta do is I have to get a tenon to hold it on one end, and then recess Okay, so I have a 2-inch tenon on that. And I have 7 chucks. So I don't play games. Okay, so now the tailstock, the live centers that I'm using, I have the one that came with the slave, a one-way, oops. Hold on a minute. A one-way and a knockoff one. Oh, we're gonna switch. Not bad. Okay, so I'm gonna drill a 3/4 inch hole in that. Okay, because when this is in use, you're gonna be holding one end in a chuck and the other is gonna fit on your tailstock, on your live center. Now, because I have the grub screw, I don't have to hold on to anything. I can just go in and out. Good enough.
Also, that whole fish over your live center.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, it should be sitting a little better than that, but I got a square face and stuff, so it'll be fine. If I wanted to be fussy about it, I would actually have a 3/4 10 tap, drill and tap it, and that would be the best approach. A good fit is your best thing, but I'm just buzzing along here, so. Okay, so the better fit you have, the better off you're gonna be. Oops. Okay, so now here comes the kind of fussy part. And again, I use grub screws all the time because I'm hitting my brake all the time. And if I didn't, I'd be unwinding chucks. Ask me how I know that happens. Okay, so now you've taken 2 jaws off and you set this on here, and I'm just kind of putting it on center. So if you can see this, I went and made a lock collar for this Forster bit. The depth from here to here is 1 1/8. And this is important. This is 1 1/8. Let me just double check. Yeah, this is a 1 1/8 Forster bit. And I'm gonna drill halfway into the piece. And the reason being is then you gotta cut a V that goes from what would be the outer corners down to that V, down to that minor diameter. And you have to do the same thing on both sides. Okay, so I made this again because I made 4 of these before I got one that was good. I came up with this today, and this should ensure that I'm stopping at the right point. Okay, everybody follow what I've been saying? Any questions?
How did you get the depth? You said the diameter is 1 1/8, but how did you get the depth?
I measured with calipers.
And what's the depth?
1 1/8.
From the tip or from the cutting edge?
from the cutting edge,
Okay,
Okay.
1/8 depth. What's the diameter?
1 1/8.
So you're
Because it's
going
half-
1/8 by
it's-
1/8. Okay, 1/8
Okay,
diameter
because your
by
minor diameter is 1 1/8.
1/8 deep. Okay,
Okay,
so depth and diameter are the same. All right.
on this because of the size I'm using.
Yep.
Okay, but I made this collar
Here,
so
move
I
on.
would go to 1 depth.
Yep.
So once the block of wood touches it,
Yep.
I'm at my depth.
Right.
Okay, now where it's sitting here is irrelevant right now. Once I drill this hole, I'm going to drill a hole all the way through with, it doesn't make any difference what size drill, so I can make sure I set it on the same center when I flip it over.
Right.
Everybody with me so far?
Yep.
Okay. I'm an old man. I have no strength. Now remember, I have a grub screw holding that chuck. That's what's going to keep it from spinning around and whoops. Where is it? Where's it? Right there. My compressor is not too loud.
Nope.
Yeah, it's a little dinky one outside. There I am. Now again, I came up with this idea today after I made 4 of these damn things. Let me get a drill. Size of this drill is irrelevant. I'm just making a through hole. I'm going to use that drill to pick it up when I flip it. That should be through. Yeah.
Why don't you check it out?
Okay, so now it's time to cut the V. And oh, it's right where the hole are. Jeez, bozo. That was why I grabbed that thing. Oops. Okay, so now can you see the line?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, so now I'm going to be cutting from that very corner down to the minor diameter. And theoretically in a straight line. Theoretically.
So in geometry, you would call it a cone?
Yep. Is that, I'm sorry I'm glaring you out, but I gotta be able to see. Okay, I'll turn the light off after.
That's cool.
I'm shaking.
Relax.
Oh. See, I missed it. I'll have to do. I'm actually a little bigger. Okay. Okay, but basically you get the gist of what you're supposed to do. Is there anybody that doesn't understand what I tried to do?
Was the cone supposed to come to a point at the center?
No. It's supposed to come to the very corner of the drilled hole.
Okay, all right. Yep,
Because that's the minor diameter on your star.
right.
Okay.
Okay, so I messed that one up. Okay, I'm not like Theo. Theo got it right the first time. So now when I flip this piece, and hopefully it'll fit in these jaws.
Yeah, it's gonna have to be deep enough.
Okay, nope, that'll work. It's down to the face of the, now look, when I flip this, I didn't go like this. I flipped it like that.
Yeah.
Okay? Because if something is off, it's gonna be off the same way. Now, where's that drill I just used?
That's right.
Yeah. There we go. Okay, so now I'm going to use the drill to line it up.
Yeah.
Everybody with me?
Yeah. Genius.
Okay, I don't remember how Theo did. I think he went to his mark lines. My mark lines always seem to be off. So now when I go to drill, it should end right at the bottom of the other one, and you repeat the process. Okay, any questions so far?
Keep going.
All right. No questions?
No.
Then I shall drill. Hold on a second. Old man assistance. And don't ask me the speed.
What's the speed?
That's fast. This used to have RPM, but I had to work on the spindle, and somewhere along the line, it never came back. I don't know if it had something to do with the spare parts. I guess I touched. Yep, and I just popped that through.
All right.
Okay, so boy, this is definitely easier than going with the raw pieces. See if I can get it right this time. Okay, now the reason you're going out to that is because when you do your V's, you're going out to the very corner of the piece. I'm gonna walk up to the center this time. Can you see the hole in the middle now?
Yep.
Can you see the bottom of the hole? Can you see the bottom of the other side?
Yep.
And you're looking to get to that point. Almost. Hey. Well, half bad ain't bad. Okay, so now you take that over to the bandsaw or whatever you cut in half. So give me a second here. It might get loud. Sorry about that. So I just cut my driver and this is how it came apart. I'm going to mark that so when I load pieces in,
I kept the room like.
you get what I'm saying?
I was gonna watch TV then.
So I did mark, so I know when I load my pieces into this, I'll have the corresponding faces. Any questions so far? Hopefully I've explained stuff well enough.
I just noticed you can save 20% at Michael's for Ashland stars, $2.99. Oh, They're not available for shipping, though. You have to go to the store to get them.
Jim is evil.
Pretty good looking stars.
I'm glad this is a family show because I would be saying something.
You can say it's Saturday morning.
In person.
I'm evil.
Okay. Let's see how that fit. Not too bad. You see it?
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah, well, that side doesn't look so, you know, whatever. Like I said, I made 4 before I actually felt I got it correct. And that's not nice and snug on there, but basically,
Oh,
okay.
now I understand the 3/4 inch hole.
Yeah, so
Okay.
all of my, well, my tail live centers like this all have 3/4 10 thread on them.
Yeah. But I,
But you could make that fit one of these. You just have to make it fit that. Fit the spin thing.
right. Right.
Okay. So you adapt to what you have.
The standard
Okay, so-
one-way live center. 3/4
Yeah,
inch.
now I have a one way. I have 3 of them. Okay, and let's go to the overhead camera because I want to show you something. Because something's off a little bit, but I'm not going to lose sleep over it. I think that's no. Well, wait, maybe you'll be able to see it.
Yeah.
Can you see the little step here?
Oh man. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, this side's a little proud. This side's pretty flush. This side's pretty flush. The idea is that both sides, all 4, whatever, would be flush if you made it correct. Theo made it correct. I like I said, I'm not a good turner. I just make stuff to make it look like I do. I know what I'm doing. Okay, and then you go and make your V's again.
I'll tell you something though, Ron. You're a better turner than you are a apron wearer or model.
The thing. Well, it's like if I were a chef, I'd be my size because I ate everything I make. Instead, my wife's such a good cook. That's why I'm as big as I am. Okay, so now you're going through and doing the V's.
Could you still see without the overhead camera? Overhead light?
Yeah, well, I can see good enough for this. I don't have an overhead light on.
It's really bleached out.
Yeah, I don't have any lights on, just the shop lights. Let me try a different camera. Hold on a minute. I don't know what to say. If I turn the lights off, I won't be able to see anything.
Right.
Now,
Oh, there.
sorry.
That's a good view.
Yep.
Oh, okay. So you're making the V cuts just like you did initially.
Yeah. What I'm doing is trying to mark where the corners are. Give me oh
The visual. You can overshoot.
yeah.
Yeah, right.
So the thing is that if everything were good, that thing would fit in there really nice and snug, like I said, I ended up making 4 of them before I got what I thought was usable. Now, the reason I'm definitely going in a little ways before I use the parting tool. Yeah, boy, something's wrong. I didn't have it tight enough. That didn't work out well. Tell you what, let me try put a different piece in. The cherry's a lot easier.
Want some Coke or something?
Yeah.
I didn't have the tailstock tight
Yeah.
enough,
Welcome, Coke.
and everything came loose.
Really. Aspirin.
And this is where I wish I was wearing my face shield, but I couldn't.
You know.
Well, that's like butter compared to that ash. And where I got the holes in there, I have a definite witness. Now, if that were a really good fit, you wouldn't hear the creaking. Secure the tool, rub the bevel, get your cut. And I can just barely see I'm off a bit. I can just barely see the witness of the hole. Whoa. Now you turn it 90 degrees. Now this time, I'll be spindle turning. Okay, because right now, this is where it's going to be the flimsiest. So I usually try to save that. Now, I'm a little nervous because I don't have a good fit. I don't know if you can see it. Can you see right there? Can you see the gap?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's not an ideal situation. So right now it's putting more pressure on the outer points. So we'll see if we can't keep it together. Now I've done this with marker, but then you might get a stain. So the pencil. That's better. Now, the very first time I did this, I took a piece of wood that was 2 1/4 inches wide. Oh, I already caught the corner there, and had a nail in it so I could keep myself on center. Let's see what we got. And just to go a little bit more, you can you see the lighting's awful. Can you see the groove from the other one?
Yep.
The idea is that all 3 V's end up at the same diameter.
What's the diameter?
Inch and a quarter, inch and an eighth, half the diameter of the piece. And that's pretty close right there. And that's basically it.
Damn.
I wish, like I said, I wish I had thought of, I came up with how to do this, but there it is.
Wow.
It's really cool.
It is.
Okay, so now, if you look at it, can you see that's kind of curved? And that's where sanding comes in. I actually have a mandrel that'll hold a sanding disc on the lathe, and I was able to go like that. But in between coats of finish, I actually had to sand each freaking facet. And then I sprayed them with gloss finish, and I don't know. My wife thinks they look too much like plastic, like the $3 things from Michaels.
$2.99.
$2.99, yeah, yeah,
And free shipping.
yeah. Okay, so I want to show you one more thing. So these are to be hanging ornaments. I had to figure out how the hell am I going to drill that hole for that eye thing. And that eye thing is something that I got from Jim Forbes. It's just some brass wire wound around a piece of material, wound up tight and then glued in there. So what I did is I made a drill jig. It's a piece of metal with a
Cone.
Yeah. Okay, so basically, that's the size hole of the. So you could take a piece of wood, do a cone, put a metal screw in it, glue a metal screw in, and drill through that to make a drill bushing. But basically, okay, now actually, hold on a minute. This was my sanding block. Set them in there for sanding, but I can use the same thing for drilling.
I cheat, Ron. I have a drill press that was made for a printed circuit board company with a precision spindle on it, a variable speed, with a little pot on it. I can drill very tiny drills, number 60 and smaller drills.
Yeah, but Jim, I have a drill press, and I can drill real tiny holes, but I'm not sure how I can make sure I hold that on center.
No, I think that bushing is great.
And
That little cone bushing is good.
That bushing is,
That's perfect.
Here's a template I made at work to CAD that I thought was right, but it's off a little bit.
Yeah.
So, but that's the 8-point star.
That's cool.
I think they're kind of cool. They, again, drilling that hole in all 6 faces definitely kept me on center. Believe me. I was striving for this at first and got that because I kept going too far with the V in the middle.
Okay.
Okay, so the key is that The V in the middle goes to the same diameter, and I use half the width of the block just for simple reasons. It could be any size. If you want to make them like this, you can. They just have to go to the same thing. And if you can get it to be a straight cut, okay, and if you can get your driver to be accurate enough, okay. So now, see, this is the one that I like, and I get a good fit on that. Okay, but it took me 4 tries before I got that. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's important. It's important that it engages. I was really nervous because it was hitting on the outer corners there. I was worried it was going to blow apart. I'm not wearing a freaking face shield. You know.
You
Safety
mean that
first.
white thing doesn't protect your face?
No, there's no white thing right here.
Oh.
You know, so that's the demo.
It's a good demo.
Nice.
Very good demo.
I wish that again,
Good.
I wish I thought
Thank
of
you
it,
very
but,
much.
You know, any questions? I will tell you this. The finer grain you can work with, I really think the better off you are. The ash that I was turning was really high.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had issues with ash, you know, with coring and stuff. You know, bent coring arms and, you know, nothing to do with Ron being too aggressive.
Oh, no.
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 General Ron?
It's 3 horsepower. It should be able to take anything.
Yeah.
You know?
But the arm on your coring system is only made for half force.
Actually, actually, see the ones behind me? Those are bent.
Yep.
And I tried to repair them. There's some beads of weld on the bottom there and stuff. It's, you know. Ow. Those are going to get modified, so I don't have to use the support arm. Okay.
Very good.
Nice job.
So,
That was great.
Very good. Thank you very much, Ron. Good job.
okay,
Yeah.
but this is what I did for most of the drilling, and then I thought about using the chuck.
Yeah.
And it worked on a drill press.
Sure. But the chuck
But
is
the
easiest.
chucking is faster.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And now
and
that I made it with that stop,
Yeah.
all
More
right,
accurate.
it's a no-brainer, and
Yeah.
that's how it has to be for me.
Yeah.
It really has to be where you don't have to think, because I think too much. I think of too many things to make it easier.
Oh, it's
So
good.
I end up making stuff, but I never make stuff. You know, whatever.
Have you
Okay.
seen any of Theo's get online? I know that they keep talking about putting some of those records online on YouTube.
They put a few of them up, but
have
they're definitely very short. They
Uh,
edited. They're heavily edited.
Yeah, there are rich versions.
Hey, okay, hold on, tell me. I wanna mention something. Okay, so you saw that the robust. Okay, this is a robust, I'm gonna call safety drive.
Mhm.
Okay, and it's 3/4 10. Well, I ended up making pieces, but you could make them out of wood that'll go on there. 1 second, there we go.
Eddie Castellan calls them soft touches.
Soft touches.
Yeah.
I don't know, but
Remember
yeah,
Eddie Castellan? Yeah, he used to make a bunch of things.
what I'm trying to get to here is to simplify making my tenons.
Yeah.
You can make a donut to fit your live center to the size of your tenon, and then you don't have to measure. 5-inch, 6-inch, 3-inch. You know, I have 1
Yeah.
to 7-inch jaws, so that's you know, I never measure for my tenons because I have these standards that I use all the time.
Right.
You know, I don't have to measure because if I'm doing a rough out bowl, I'll go just a touch strong.
Right.
So that way, when it's dry, I can bring it to the thing. But you know, I'm a production turner. There's no doubt about it. I'm not a artistic turner. I'm just a production turner.
Well, we'll talk
No.
on Saturday morning about the different ways of holding
Yeah.
that stuff.
But I just wanted to mention that because, God, for me, it's so simple. When I'm doing spindle work, you know, I have that on there. Bango. You know, whatever.
Cool.
Very good.
Well, very nice job.
Good
Thank
job.
you, Ron.
Thank you very
And
much.
Marcel,
Okay.
Marcel,
There
we'll
you
see
go.
you
Night
Saturday
all.
morning.
Yeah,
Good.